Welcome to the tutorial video for Starship Battles. Let's take a look at what's inside the box. Here we can see 3 types of cards and 2 types of markers. The cards represent different starship compartments. There are 12 attack compartments which have red backs. These cards allow your ship to attack the enemy. In the lower right corner, you can see a red circle with a number in it. This number represents the cost to use the compartment and also the amount of damage it can sustain before being destroyed. The icons to the left represent the attack strength of this compartment. Each icon you have in play allows an additional attack opportunity. There are 12 defend compartments which have blue backs. These cards allow your ship to defend itself against enemy attacks. In the lower right corner, you'll see the same resource icon. The icons to the left represent the defend strength of this compartment. Each icon you have in play allows an additional defend opportunity. There are 12 support compartments which have yellow backs. These cards offer 2 different abilities. This icon represents command decisions. Command decisions allow you to change an attack or defend opportunity if you don't like the results. This icon represents repair ability. Each repair icon you have in play allows an opportunity to repair damage done to your ship compartments. There are 40 attack, defend, repair markers which have black backs. These markers are drawn when attempting an attack, defend, or repair opportunity. There are 13 markers with a 0, 13 markers with a 1, 13 markers with a 2, and 1 marker with a 3. There are 30 damage markers, which are red on both sides with white text. These markers are used to keep track of how much damage a ship compartment has sustained. There are 20 markers which have a number 1 on one side and a number 2 on the other side. There are 10 markers which have number 3 on one side and a number 4 on the other side. To start each game, separate the different cards and markers into their own piles. The attack, defend, repair markers are easiest to use if you place them all in a small cup, but for this demonstration, we'll deal them like cards. Shuffle each type of ship compartment card separately. Each player is dealt 3 of each type of card. All remaining undealt cards are set aside. They will not be used. Each player selects 6 cards to keep, 2 of each type. The other 3 are passed to the player on the left. From this large hand of cards, each player then chooses which compartments to bring online in his ship. Players may choose any number and combination of cards so long as the total resources do not exceed 14. The unused cards are set aside. Each player lays out their chosen cards on the table, revealing them to their opponents. Now it's time for the ships to do battle. Players take simultaneous turns attacking, defending, and repairing their ships. In the first phase of a turn, players count the number of attack symbols on their ship compartments. Each player can draw that many attack, defend, repair markers. Players may look at their own markers, but should keep these hidden from their opponents. Some of the markers may be zeros. If that's the case, each player may count the number of command symbols on their ship compartments, then set aside up to that many markers from their hand. The player should then draw replacement markers for each that he set aside. The markers that had been set aside should be returned to the pile after all players have redrawn. In the second phase of a turn, players may choose how to use their attack markers. A player may divide his markers between any opponents. All of a player's markers may be used against a single opponent, or they could be split equally, or in any other combination. In a 2-player match, there is only one opponent, so that's who all of your attack markers will target. Once you've decided how to distribute your attack markers, you line them up in front of your opponent face down. Though you may still have markers with a 0, these can be used to bluff your opponent, since he won't know its value. In the third phase of the turn, players count the number of defend symbols on their ship compartments. Each player can draw that many attack, defend, repair markers. Once again, some of these markers may be zeros. Players can count the number of command symbols and replace up to that many markers from their hand. In this case, no zeros were drawn, so we'll skip that. In the fourth phase of a turn, players use the defend markers. The defend markers should be used to counter the attack markers arrayed against you. Players place each of their defend markers in front of an attack marker, face up. You may use up to 2 defend markers against any attack marker. In the fifth phase of a turn, players assess damage. Each player flips over the attack markers arrayed against them. Players then compare the attack markers to the defend markers. If an attack marker had a higher value than the defense total of the markers arrayed against it, the player takes damage equal to the difference. Up top, we can see that the attack of 2 is more than the defense of 1, so 1 damage is taken. Below, much more damage is done. 2 versus 1 takes 1 damage. 1 versus no defense takes 1 damage. 3 versus 1 defense takes 2 damage. Players then take these damage markers and place them on their ship compartments. Damage markers may be combined if desired. A 1 and a 1 could be combined as a 2. A 2 and a 1 could be combined as a 3. The player taking damage has the choice of how he would like to distribute it. In this case, we'll just leave them uncombined and spread it around. The attack and defend markers should be returned to the pile. In the sixth phase of a turn, players may repair damage. Each player counts the number of repair symbols on their ship compartments. Each player can draw that many attack, defense, repair markers. Unlike when attacking and defending, command symbols may not be used when repairing. If you draw a 0, you keep the 0. Each repair marker may be used on any single damaged ship compartment to remove that many damage points from the compartment. In the seventh phase of a turn, players discard any ship compartments which have been destroyed. If any ship compartment has damage points equal to its damage limit, it should be discarded. Return any damage markers from a discarded ship compartment to the damage marker pile. After that, a new turn begins. Play continues until only one player has any remaining ship compartments. To find out more about Starship Battles, you can go to thegamecrafter.com or click on the link.